Hello, good morning. Little bit of subliminal, start us off with. I hope everyone's having a lovely bank holiday weekend. And this is a very, very special, quick video. Quick, he says. So, miracles do happen in the strangest of bloody ways. So, putting it all in a nutshell. So I'll try and put it in a nutshell for you. So I was talking about doing parcels for people, and then we had one or two people that weren't too happy and made comments like, you should give that to your investors, and me going, well, can't do that because no investors asked for it, and I can't, and I know I can't for investors for large parcels. I can't just go sending large parcels because I've got to make sure that when I send that parcel, that person's happy. That's why it's slower, but the people that have received the parcel so far, they're happy. So, and then I said, if any of you investors want a parcel, you can have one. I mean, that's not a problem. Suddenly, the floodgates opened. Whoosh! A load of you come forward. And that had a very important effect, let me tell you. Bit subliminal. All right, Ian. Hope you're having a good weekend. So, floodgates opened. A load of you come forward and went, I'll have a parcel. I'll have a parcel. Even some people on the 10 times a mint fund, which I'm leaving for the moment because of what I said before. Excuse me. So why is that miraculous? Well, excuse me. Well, I've had a couple of conversations over the weekend with a couple of different people, and each person I've spoken to, I've said I have never known it in all my life that you would end up in a situation where the majority of creditors come forward and go, yeah, I'll take a parcel. Never known that. That's why I never offered it, because it's the last thing you think of in that sense. Creditors accepting a parcel, don't be silly. Imagine the creditors of Debenhams or the creditors of Bright House going, yeah, we'll accept a parcel to the value of, send me your TV, send me a couch, send me whatever, some coats or dresses or bras or pants. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen ever. But you lot, you by your action, by your sudden, I'll have a parcel, clear my investment in, I don't mind. Because you've had that kind of attitude, not just one or two people, I hasten to add, but sort of almost en masse, right? Now that changes things. That now makes it a whole new ball game because and we had a lengthy discussion, me and John, over the weekend on this. Because if you're now in the position where you've got your creditors ready to accept a parcel, and therefore your creditors are arranging with you a way in which to clear that debt, and so whatever money comes in, you're not under immediate stress to give it to those creditors because those creditors have said, I'll have a parcel. So now any money that comes in now, that can go straight off the, I don't know what you want to call that. It can come straight off the overall debt. It can come straight off the balance. It can be paid towards a bill. It can be paid towards Shopify or credit card or a loan or whatever it is that we've got, whatever we owe money on, or another investor. So that now seriously changes things. Now, not only did I have that, not only did I have a lot of you come forward and say, I'll have a parcel, I've got to be careful about what I say and how I say it from now on, because I've had some lovely feedback from some of you, lovely feedback. And with that feedback, a few words have been mentioned, like self-pity and suicidal and that kind of thing. That I'm not one of those people that's ever going to go off and commit suicide. I am one of those people that will say those thoughts are coming in. I'm not one of those people that will act on those thoughts. You know, we all have thoughts come in of different things that we don't necessarily act on. And it's me being honest, and it's because I've gone down this road of saying, look, I'm going to be honest with you, and you're going to see it warts and all. You're going to see me go in and out and deal with it, whatever. But of course, when I do that, that means opening myself up a little bit. That means showing a little bit of a vulnerable side, and so on. And some of you want that. Some of you don't. Some of you don't, not interested in that. Not interested in that side of things. Not interested in the private and the personal. Not interested in all of that. Some of you just want to see professional, head down. And so some of what I say, I suppose, in retrospect, thinking about it, especially after the feedback I've had, some of it could be construed as like, oh, he's a bit self-indulgent or he's a bit self-pitying, and I'm neither. I can promise you that. I don't ask for pity at all. I knew what I was getting into, and I knew my own risks. Another thing has happened in that I've had several people, just a quick bit of subliminal, I've had a few investors have contacted me and said, to the effect of, I knew what I was getting into, I've supported you from the beginning, or I've supported you from whenever. I knew what I was getting into. It's only money. It's not that I can afford to lose it. In one case, somebody said it's not that I can afford to lose it. In another case, somebody said they could afford to lose it. It's not worth your health. It's not worth... I knew what I was getting into, right? I've had people contacting me, not just one or two, I've had several people contact me, saying you knew what you was getting into, and you know, you don't hold me any bad feeling whatsoever, and you're not expecting anything, let alone a parcel. You're not expecting anything. And as you can appreciate, you know, for creditors to do that is unbelievable. It's amazing. I won't pretend it didn't bring me to tears. Some of these messages that you've sent me. And it changes things. It doesn't just do what you wanted it to do. Ian, it's all right. I knew what I was getting into. I'm okay. Don't worry about paying me back. Immediate bit of stress. Whether that be a little bit of stress or a big bit of stress. Immediate bit of stress. Choof. The moment you read something like that, choof, it's gone. It lifts. You can almost feel something lift. There's a moment. Wow. So, and this seriously does change a lot of things, because it starts taking pressure off. And now having a load of you come through and say, Ian, it's all right, I'll have a parcel, all of a sudden, it's a huge amount of stress coming off. Now you might think, excuse me, that putting together so many parcels would stress me out. No, it doesn't, not at all. No, all I know now is I've got to get ready to make a load of sheets up to get those presentations of those parcels ready over the next few weeks and start getting some out. That is quite cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm loving that idea. So no, that doesn't stress me out having to make the parcels and send those out, because as I've been saying for a long time, I've got the stock. I've got the stock to put together sheets and sheets and sheets, all sorts of sheets. It just takes time. Now something else miraculous happened, right? And this is another reason why it's not going to stress me out putting the parcels together for the people that are like a couple of £100 here, 50 quid, you know, 500 quid, 1,000. You might think, oh, it's going to stress him out putting all them parcels together. No, it won't. Another one of you contacted me to say exactly the same thing. However, the difference between this investor is that this investor is owed over 12 grand. 12 grand. And his exact words were, I'm happy to take a parcel, and then in brackets, he put a very big parcel, and that's someone else you don't have to worry about, and that's some stress off your shoulders. And by God, is it. 12 grand. Can you imagine? 12 grand. I know that person's watching. I'm so humbled. Unbelievable. To say that I'll take that in a parcel, don't stress about it, Ian. I knew what I was getting into. And to have those people, those of you that have said to me, you know, don't worry about it, I'm not expecting anything. So humbled. I am, words fail me to be able to except just to say thank you. Thank you. Oh, shoot. See, we leave it all in, warts and all. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. Because between you and the people that have said that they'll accept a parcel, you've changed it. I just want to check it's still going. Yeah. You've changed. you group of people all together have completely and utterly changed. I don't know what you want to call it. You want to call it fate, you want to call it the future, you want to call it the tomorrow, you want to call it the next week, the next month, you want to call it the scenario, you want to, whatever you want to call it. You lot and you lot alone have single-handedly, together, as it were, changed the outcome now. Because I had got to a point where I've hit such a big wall, there's no way I'm going to get over that wall. I've tried everything I can think of. And the one thing I didn't try to alleviate pressure was to come on and do a video and say, hey, if there's any investors out there, would you like to have a parcel to settle up? I never thought of doing that. So it has blown me away. And it is no wonder that there were a couple of you getting the ump over the parcel thing, because you're probably thinking that it didn't apply to you. And I'm thinking, you don't want it. See? Complete lack of communication. So, where does that leave us? Let me tell you where it leaves us. It leaves us with the people that are writing to me and seriously telling me, Ian, don't worry about it. I knew what I was getting into, that's fine. Still with you. Don't worry about the money. For those people, obviously, that stress is off. I don't need to worry about that money because they've told me so. At the same time, I'm not ripping them up off a list. I'm not rubbing them out. They're staying there. Because if there's a way that I can settle those people who are willing to wait until the last, who are willing to just say, don't worry about it, I'm not even bothered about getting any money back, you know, I knew what I was getting into, let alone a parcel. For those people, you know, you can't, no one could have the ump with me for looking after those people a little bit more. So if I end up settling them with a parcel, they're going to get a bigger parcel. Because they have, if you see what I mean, if you can appreciate that, they have just come along and gone, that bit of stress of mine that's on, I'm taking it off. I'm taking it off. It's too much for you. Now see what you can do. And I think I can do so now. All right, so putting it again into a bit of a nutshell. So what this means is that we are about to attempt to do something that nobody has ever done before. I like that idea. I now have reason and oomph and the backing of you guys and so on to continue fighting and therefore not go bankrupt yet. Now it's a funny thing, bankruptcy, because you can stave off bankruptcy. There is no law that says you have to go bankrupt. There is a law that says when you hit insolvency, you have to let people know. I did that. But there is no law that says you have to go bankrupt. You just end up ceasing trading. You can do that, and then you can start a new business. And the only way that you'll end up going bankrupt is if somebody actually takes you bankrupt. And to do that, somebody's got to spend probably 3 or 4 grand of their own money and physically make a person bankrupt. And even if somebody did that and spent 3 or 4 grand, and I don't think there's anybody out there that would be daft enough to do this, because, and that's not meant detrimentally, because when you spend that money to make somebody bankrupt, you don't become a preferential creditor. So you make somebody bankrupt, you spend 3 or 4 grand, they become bankrupt. The official receiver doesn't then go, right, Ian, you made them bankrupt, you spent 3 or 4 grand, you get your money first. That person that spent the money making them people bankrupt, that person is a creditor like everybody else, and they are standing in line like everybody else. That's the law. So that person is not going to make somebody bankrupt at a cost of 3 or 4 grand if there's nothing to collect at the end of it. You only make somebody bankrupt and spend the money making somebody bankrupt if, when you make that person bankrupt, there's something for the official receiver to take that's then going to be sold to pay for all the creditors and to give you your money back. And only then do you get the costs of the 3 or 4 grand back. So it isn't worth a person spending the money making you bankrupt unless there's something for them to get. The only other reason somebody would do it is out of principle. Well, I'm going to make you bankrupt anyway, and I don't care because I've got the money, so I don't care. It's going to cost me 3 or 4 grand and I'm not going to get anything back. See what I mean? So to that end, I can then keep, I can dance the bankruptcy dance. I can keep that going for a bit. I don't have to hit the button myself, not if I've got a reason to carry on, not if I've got a bit of fight left in me and a bit of backing, no. So what that means is that we're going to change a few things around. Now there's another comment from Mr. G, and he was quite right too. I've been letting too many people get to me, you know, it's like I was saying about the self-pity and stuff. It doesn't really matter what kind of a video I make. Someone's going to maybe take that not necessarily the way that I'm trying to come across, if you see what I mean. And Mr. G said in his comment, you know, maybe it's time, something along the lines of, maybe it's time to go back to dropping the dead weight or something like that and blocking people and deleting comments. And he's right, because I'm trying to go down this path, and while I'm trying to go down this path, I've got all this shit going on to the right and to the left of me. I've got people throwing stones and sticks and all the rest of it, and I'm trying to go this way. It's like trying to go that way and having a minefield going off, you know. And whilst all this is going on, you're not really concentrating on what you should be concentrating on. You're not really head down. And so I am going to start ignoring all of that. You are going to start seeing me delete comments. And to those people that leave comments and say things like, oh, you're deleting the truth and you don't like people saying the truth, tell you what, you go and say the truth on your own channel. I can't delete that. Anybody wants to say anything bad about me, go and do it on your own channel. Go and do it on Facebook, go and do it on Twitter, go and do it on YouTube, go and do it somewhere, but don't do it on mine. Because the few people that I've got left, I'm going to trust them to do their bit. And somebody is going to be looking after the comment situation, and I'm going to trust that person and hand it over to them. And if comments get deleted, they get deleted. That's how I'm going to look at it. We're going to look at this now. I'm not having any of that. I'm just not having it. I can't deal with the distractions while I'm trying to get things going. So I'm going to be a little bit more focused. I'm going to be a little bit more professional. I'm going to be a little bit more strict in those areas. So expect comments to get deleted. If you don't want your comment to get deleted, don't leave it in a negatory fashion. If you want to leave it in a negatory fashion, go and leave it somewhere else. You put it on mine, it's going to be deleted. I don't even want the stress of it. Not even going to bother answering it. I'm just going to get my head down now and do my best. Me and John have been talking. We're hoping to bring you a live once or twice a week between the two of us to let you know what we're doing. Another thing that we'll be looking at is we'll be looking at the social enterprise side of things, because it has been pointed out that we have done such a lot of good in such a lot of areas that we have been a working social enterprise for several years. So we're going to take a look at that. So in other words, remember I told you it ain't over until the fat lady sings, and the fat lady ain't singing. Thanks to you, I got another crack at it. Don't expect the parcels too quick, but every single one of you that wants a parcel will get one, including the big 12 grander, and you'll see that one grow, because I'll put that on a video and I'll go, this one here is the 12 grander. I won't mention the person's name. This one is a 12 grander, and you'll see that one grow. When it's put together and that person's happy, I will send it, and that will be that person cleared. So, and at the moment, as I say, we're putting loads of sheets together, so that, because some of these sheets are like 100 quid a sheet. So if I've got a load of piles, I can go, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and then they're all different, you see. I'm not giving someone 4 or 5 sheets of the same thing. Anyway, there's my quick update, let you know what's going on, and it ain't over yet. And anybody that wants to help us, please get in touch and let us know that you want to help us, and we'll find a little role for you, because we are moving. Now we've got a way of moving forward. What I need to do next is I need to create, it's not like little departments, but before it's me dealing with everybody individually, like a huge spider's web coming out from me at the top. I need to change that, because I need almost like little departments, so that things can carry on and I don't have to worry about it or spend any time on it, and then I can concentrate on other things. I know what I'm talking about. Thank you very much, and let's have it.